When we break it down to smaller chunks, when you talked about the international students and the cohorts, so what is the migration strategy, or what does that look like now for international students wanting to study here in Australia?
Absolutely. Now, international students has been backbone of Australian economy. It is the second biggest economy generator for Australia because we recruit a lot of international students from various parts of the world. Even till date, student visa has been assessed on the genuine temporary entrant criteria, which is called Direction 69, Migration Regulation 500.212. So what does that really talks about is we need to demonstrate that you're a genuine student. So which means you need to satisfy what was the reasoning for you to choose this particular course, why Australia, why this particular university. And a main component is once you establish your qualification and education in Australia, when you go back home, how are you going to utilize this particular qualification that you've obtained from Australia into your personal growth or the growth of the country, or what's your intention when you go back? And as a part of that genuine temporary entrant criteria, people need to demonstrate they have enough assets for them to go back and look after those assets. They have family ties, they have economic ties, they have employment ties and whatnot. So that's changing. That's the biggest thing that has been there for a long period, and now it's going to change to genuine student test. So as opposed to genuine temporary entrant, so it will be replaced by genuine student test. Now, how does the genuine student test will look like has not been executed yet by the Department of Home Affairs, but just putting some logical sense around what is Department of Home Affairs is potentially looking at is, instead of now you demonstrating how you want to take away this particular qualification and skills from Australia into your back home, they have actually reversed the whole psychology to now prove whatever the studies that you're going to do in Australia, how you're going to benefit Australia. So they've actually refocused the whole thing back to Australia, which kind of makes sense because it doesn't matter how much of evidence or requirements you want to put in there, try to justify that you're a genuine student who would like to return back home after study. Well, majority of them are not returning back home anyway. So whatever the justification that we were doing during the student visa process, it seems to be just ticking the box activities at the Department of Home Affairs just to make sure that they have met the legislative requirements of genuine temporary entrant. But now student test will make it more practical, to be honest, because majority of the people would like to continue to stay in Australia or apply for permanent residency. So now the test will be more around tell me why you want to come to Australia and why did you choose this particular course, and how do you think Australia will benefit from you in terms of choosing this particular course for Australia and Australian economy. So it will change, it will reverse the whole thing. So that means it will be much easier for a student who is looking at coming to Australia. They can potentially choose subject that is directly related to permanent residency before they have to go for a relevant subject. For example, if they have done accounting in their home countries, usual segue or automatic segue would be to go and opt in for Masters of Accounting, which has no value in Australia at this point of time because there's too many accountants, very less with the experience, which means there is always going to be labor shortage because there's never going to be fulfilled. But then we have all these accounting graduates that sitting in an overhaul and not knowing where they stand at the moment. So because that, again, it falls back to the original steps of genuine temporary entrant criteria, because these people were compelled to choose the relevant master's degree on their subject that they did back home because they need to fulfill the genuine temporary entrant criteria. But now these people could potentially choose some other areas like social work or nursing or teaching or marine science that is in deficiency in Australia, and then they will be able to prove, I picked this particular course because I think after finishing the course I can contribute to the labour shortage and skill shortage in that particular industry, ultimately contributing to the economy of Australia.
Hey guys, I'm here at the headquarters of ProVisa Services, where you can get first-class professional service. You see, life is all about the service that you provide other people. How can you obsess over other people's problems? How could you obsess in the finer details in order to achieve your dreams? As a first-generation African immigrant, know what it's like to live here in Australia. The beauty, the life, being able to see my loved ones every single day. And we know so many other people want to be able to share and cultivate that experience. Well, here at ProVisa Services, you get just that. A family environment, where you're able to make your dreams come true. Make sure to follow ProVisa Services and the Rubasha Family Podcast.
If you really enjoyed this video, make sure to click here, and I'm sure you're going to love that one.